principles and sources to discuss?
Well, absolutely. But one of the ways, and I can tell you, this is many years ago,
Right.
8-9 years ago. A friend of mine, he sent me a link to Dua Kumail. He said, "You know what? I heard this. You must read this." I said, "Really? I have grown up in this, listening to this dua." What I understood from that is, we have never portrayed ourselves. Like if we have a recitation of Dua Kumail, like I'm just giving an example, not necessarily that, and that shows the aspect, the spiritual aspect that is part of us, not what they see us doing. Like a lot of people say they're going crazy or barbaric, and that's why we're getting a lot of flack on that for that, right? So I think these are the ways we reach out to those people, right? I mean, this is the spirituality in Shiaism.
As a matter of fact, Imam Khomeini rahmatullah has given us direction. Our focal point is Palestine. Palestinians are Ahl Sunnah, all of them. But Shias have always stood up for them and have stood up against the tyrants or the Israelis. And that's a focal point. That's why we celebrate Quds every year. I think in my humble opinion, that maybe is a focal point for all Muslims to unite at one point.
Well said. No, I completely agree. I think Shia Muslims, if our centers and our leadership, we all come together and we think about these things, the more we branch out and get into smaller groups, and then the smaller groups and smaller groups, these things will lose our focus. Because they are doing it because they have central councils where all these masajid, they probably have 200 masajid in Houston, I'm just guessing, I don't know, 150 musalla?
191.
191, well, I was close, because in Dallas there used to be 100 like 10 years ago. So it's probably more than here, I don't know. So yeah, and they have central councils. I've attended some of those meetings for other things, and they plan these things out between the masajid, because these are common concerns. Why are Shias so misunderstood? Because we are not on the same page.
Right.
That's why. We're not on the same page. We are not thinking about building institutions. We're thinking about building centers, which is not the same thing. An institution means groups of people, focused groups of people working, researching like he's doing, consistently developing a plan, executing it, just like a project. How do you do professionally, how do you plan a project? Like you write grants, how do you plan and develop a project? Those of you who have studied that, you know that. So this is a project. It's not going to randomly happen just because I love to do it, it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen like that. Look, they have manuals. They have manuals for everything. Ask them, just borrow it from them. Look at how they do their dawah work with whatever content they have. But they just develop a way of presenting it. And they reach out, invite people, open houses, this and that. You don't need a lot of resources. You need coordination, teamwork, trust, understanding, working together. People, ulama, if one of the centers has done some more work in this, everybody get together. Because we are at the receiving end today, in many parts of the world. In Yemen, in Bahrain, well, in some places we are dominant force, alhamdulillah, but there are still many places. Because we don't have majority in all countries. Even in some countries where we do have majority, still the governments are suppressing them. So we have problems to deal with in this country. We have not had a major problem from the Wahhabis so far. But who knows? Because the masajid are mostly run by Wahhabis. The law of this country is not allowing them to do anything nasty, but who knows? So we need to get our house in order, build institutions, work together, and think about these projects as a community project. We just have to do it. And if we think seriously about doing it, you know what? You will see the fruits of that coming up very soon. I mean, like Muslim Congress, it's not a big organization. Few volunteers, few ulama, few volunteers. Consistently do things. We don't do a lot, but we try to do whatever little we do, consistently, quality. And you can do a lot more than that, because the manpower in the Shia community, with all the motivation that we have because of our Iman, nothing can match that.
Any more questions?
Guys, please, ladies. Yeah, I would like to please reinforce that there's a page in the back of it where you need to put your comments and feedback or criticism, whatever you feel like. And I would really appreciate if you guys can fill in something, a little more and give us back so we can use it to get ourselves better or, update things.